The alarm bells rang through the Galactic Council station as Ambassador Krelthon rushed into the emergency meeting room. His blue skin had turned pale, and his forearms shook as he held the data pad. The other alien representatives looked at him with worry. Something big was happening. "Show them the pictures," Krelthon said to his assistant. The lights went dim, and a huge image appeared in the center of the room. Every alien in the room gasped when they saw it. The ship was massive. It was bigger than anything they had ever seen before. The human vessel looked like a giant metal beast floating in space. Its hull was dark gray with strange markings. Weapons pointed out from every side. The ship was so large that their biggest warships looked like toys next to it. "This is what the humans call a Titan-class ship," Krelthon said. His voice was quiet, but scared. "Our spies took these pictures 3 days ago. The ship is 12 times bigger than our largest battlecruiser." Chancellor Zexhai from the Kepler Syndicate stood up. His tall, thin body moved like a snake as he walked closer to the image. His red eyes studied every detail of the human ship. "Look at those energy readings," he said. "This ship has enough power to destroy entire planets. The humans are not what they seem." Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his small diplomatic ship called New Horizon. He looked out the window at the stars and smiled. Today was the most important day in human history. They were going to meet aliens for the first time. Real aliens from other planets. "Captain, we're getting close to the alien station," said Izzy. Communications officer Lieutenant Amy Davis. She was young and excited about the mission. Like everyone else on the ship, she had dreamed of this moment since she was a child. Jake nodded and looked behind his ship. There, following them like a giant guardian, was the experimental ship Terra's Wrath. The massive vessel made Jake feel safe. Earth had sent their biggest and newest ship to protect the diplomatic mission. Jake didn't know that the aliens were looking at the same ship and feeling very afraid. "Send a message to Admiral Barnes on Terra's Wrath," Jake said. "Tell her we're almost there." Admiral Lisa Barnes was in her command center reading reports from Earth. The message from Earth Command was clear. "Make friends with the aliens, but be ready for anything." She looked around at her crew. There were over 50,000 people on Terra's Wrath. Most of them were scientists, engineers, and doctors. Only a small number were soldiers. "Admiral, the alien station is asking us to slow down," said her navigation officer, Commander Pete Johnson. "They want to scan our ships." "That's fine," Lisa said. "Let them look. We have nothing to hide." She had no idea that the aliens were already planning how to stop what they thought was a human invasion fleet. Back in the council meeting room, the alien leaders were making quick decisions. General Mordek of the Vortani Empire hit the table with his metal fist. "These humans are dangerous. Look at their ship. It's built for war, not peace." "But they say they come in peace," said Ambassador Yelsina from the peaceful Milani Republic. Her green skin glowed softly as she spoke. "Maybe we should talk to them first." "Talk?" General Mordek laughed. "You don't build ships like that for talking. You build them for fighting." The room filled with noise as different aliens argued, in their own languages. Some wanted to attack the humans first, others wanted to try talking, but they all agreed on one thing. The human ship was too dangerous to ignore. Dr. Karen Price sat in her small office on New Horizon, working on translation programs. She was the best language expert Earth had, and her job was to help humans and aliens understand each other. She had studied every alien language they knew about, but she was worried. Sometimes words meant different things to different species. "I hope this works," she said to herself as she checked her programs one more time. She had no idea that other translation systems were already changing human words into scary alien words. On Terra's Wrath, Dr. Susan Grant was in her laboratory preparing supplies for their mission. The huge cargo holds were full of medical equipment, food makers, and machines that could clean the air on planets. Everything humans would need to help aliens who might be sick or hungry. "Load the atmospheric processors in Bay 7, she told her team, "and make sure the medical supplies are easy to reach." Susan believed they were bringing help to the galaxy. She didn't know that alien spies watching from far away thought the supplies looked like invasion equipment. The Alien Council meeting was getting more heated. Intelligence reports kept coming in about human activities near their space. Ships were moving. Bases were being built. To the aliens, it looked like humans were getting ready for war. "We must act now," said Admiral Kextar, the Council's military leader. "If we wait, the humans will be too strong to stop." "But what if we're wrong?" asked Ambassador Yelsina. "What if they really do want peace?" Chancellor Zexhai stood up again. He had been quiet for a while, reading secret reports. "I have information that proves the humans are lying," he said. "Their ship movements, their weapon tests, their military buildup, everything points to invasion." What the Council didn't know was that Zexhai was not telling the truth. Some of his own people wanted war with humans because they were afraid of human technology. They had changed the reports to make humans look dangerous. Captain Jake Morrison received a message from the alien station. "Human ship, you may approach, but your large vessel must stay back." Jake was confused. Why didn't they want Terra's wrath to come close? He thought maybe the aliens were just being careful. "Tell them we understand," Jake said. "Admiral Barnes, they want Terra's wrath to keep distance." "Copy that, Captain," Lisa replied. "We'll stay here and wait." She looked at her huge ship and wondered why the aliens seemed so nervous. Terra's wrath was built to help people, not hurt them. The Council made their final decision in secret. They would watch the humans closely. If the humans showed any sign of attack, the Council would strike first. Ships from 15 different alien worlds started moving toward human space. As Jake Morrison's small ship flew toward the alien station, he felt excited and hopeful. Behind him, Terra's wrath waited quietly in space, its massive hull hiding secrets that could build new worlds. Around them, alien fleets moved in the darkness, preparing for a war that nobody wanted, but everybody feared. The first meeting between humans and aliens was about to begin. But instead of friendship, misunderstanding was growing like a dangerous storm. One look at the human Titan-class ship had started something that no one could control. 6 months after the Council's emergency meeting, Admiral Kevin Blake stood on the observation deck of the newly built human space station, Forge of Stars. He watched as the latest squadron of Phoenix-class destroyers completed their test flights. The station itself was a marvel of human hybrid engineering, a massive construction that combined the best of both human industrial design and alien technology. The station was 10 times larger than anything humans had built before first contact. Its hull gleamed with the distinctive shimmer of hybrid armor, and energy conduits traced glowing patterns across its surface. Docking bays large enough to service entire fleets extended from the central hub, like the arms of a giant wheel. Dr. Amanda Wright joined Blake at the viewing window, her expression mixing satisfaction with amazement. "The production reports just came in, Admiral. We are now building ships faster than any single Council species, and each one is more advanced than the last." Blake nodded, but his attention was focused on the approaching diplomatic convoy. 3 Council vessels moved slowly toward the station under escort by human destroyers. The symbolism was not lost on anyone involved. For the first time in galactic history, Council ships were traveling under human protection. The lead escort vessel was the Triumph of Terra, commanded by Captain Jake Morrison. The same man who had started this revolution by deciding to study alien garbage now commanded the flagship of humanity's most powerful fleet. "Any word from Captain Morrison's diplomatic mission?" Blake asked. Amanda's smile was answer enough. The visit to Nexus Prime was a complete success. When Jake's squadron arrived in Council space and demonstrated our defensive capabilities, the leadership realized they had very few options left. The human negotiating team had traveled to the heart of Council space just 2 weeks earlier. The Mere sight of human warships in the galactic capital, ships that could potentially defeat any force sent against them, had been enough to convince the alien leadership that negotiation was much better than confrontation. Commander Lisa Carter approached from the command section, carrying a data tablet with the latest intelligence reports. "Admiral, our scouts report that several Council species have begun attempting to reverse engineer our hybrid technology. So far, they are having limited success." Blake chuckled. "Of course they are. They are trying to understand the principles behind our improvements instead of focusing on what works. Classic alien mistake. The truth was that human hybrid technology succeeded not because humans understood alien science better than the aliens themselves, but because humans approached the problem differently. Where alien species sought perfect solutions based on advanced theoretical principles, humans built practical systems that worked under real-world conditions." Dr. Wright pulled up a holographic display showing the current state of human space. "The industrial expansion has exceeded every projection, Admiral. We now have hybrid technology production facilities on 87 worlds, and our shipbuilding capacity rivals the entire Council combined." The implications were staggering. In less than 4 years, humanity had gone from being a galactic joke to potentially the most powerful military force in known space, and they had accomplished it using technology that their former oppressors had literally thrown away. A communication alert chimed, and the image of High Counselor Zenthkar appeared on the main screen. The massive Vorthon's crystal form seemed somehow smaller than it had during their first diplomatic contact. The proud alien leader who had once dismissed humans as primitive scavengers now spoke with careful respect. "Admiral Blake," the translated voice carried tones of respect that would have been unthinkable just months earlier. "The Galactic Council formally requests permission to begin negotiations for a new interspecies treaty." Blake smiled diplomatically. "Of course, High Counselor. We are always happy to discuss peaceful relations with our neighbors." The phrase neighbors instead of superiors was not lost on anyone listening. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted fundamentally, and everyone knew it. "We have prepared an initial offer for your consideration," Zenthkar continued. "Full recognition of human sovereignty over your current territory, trading rights throughout Council space, and a formal apology for our previous misunderstanding of your species' capabilities." Commander Carter stepped forward. "With respect, High Counselor, that offer does not address the core issue." "Which is?" Zenthkar asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "Reparations," Blake said simply. "For 3 years, the Council used human space as a dumping ground while treating us as an inferior species. That damage needs to be addressed." There was a long pause before the High Counselor responded. The other Council representatives could be seen in the background, their various forms all focused on the negotiation that would determine the future of galactic civilization. "What form would such reparations take?" Zenthkar finally asked. Blake exchanged glances with his senior staff before answering. They had planned this moment carefully, knowing that humanity's response would set the tone for future relations. "Continued technological exchange," Blake said. "Regular shipments of damaged or obsolete Council technology for human research and development. Preferential trading status for human merchants throughout Council space. And most importantly, formal acknowledgement that humans are not only equal members of the galactic community, but that our unique approach to technology development makes us valuable partners." The High Counselor's form shifted through several color patterns, the Vorthon equivalent of deep consideration. In the background, other Council representatives could be seen discussing the terms among themselves. "The Council will need to discuss these terms," Zenthkar said finally. "Of course," Blake replied. "Take all the time you need. We are not going anywhere." As the communication ended, Dr. Wright laughed quietly. "Did we just turn the most powerful government in the galaxy into our research and development suppliers?" Blake's smile was answer enough. "Amanda, Never underestimate what humans can accomplish when someone makes the mistake of underestimating us. Outside the station, human ships continued their patrols through space that had once been considered worthless. Debris fields. But now those same fields were recognized for what they truly were, the foundation of humanity's rise to galactic prominence. The construction bays of Forge of Stars hummed with constant activity. New ships emerged daily, each one incorporating the latest improvements to hybrid technology. Human engineers had not stopped innovating after their initial success. If anything, they had accelerated their efforts. "Admiral," said Chief Engineer Danny Rodriguez as he joined the group at the observation window, "the new Titan-class battleships are ahead of schedule. We should have the first one ready for trials next month." Blake nodded with satisfaction. The Titan class represented the next evolution of human hybrid technology. Where the Phoenix-class destroyers had proven that human engineering could improve alien technology, the Titans would demonstrate that humans could create entirely new designs that surpassed anything the galaxy had ever seen. "And the other projects?" Blake asked. "The orbital shipyards around Earth are producing civilian vessels with hybrid technology," Rodriguez reported. "Cargo ships with shields stronger than Council military vessels. Passenger liners that can outrun anything in space. We are not just building a fleet, Admiral. We are rebuilding human civilization." Commander Carter looked at the latest population reports. Immigration to human space has increased by 300% in the last 6 months. We are getting requests from dozens of species asking for permission to establish colonies in human territory. The irony was not lost on anyone. The same species that had once treated humans as inferior garbage collectors were now begging for the privilege of living under human protection. Dr. Wright activated another display showing technological development across human space. "We have successfully integrated technology from 18 different alien species now. Our hybrid systems are not just functional, they are revolutionary. We are creating entirely new fields of science." Blake stared out at the fleet of human ships, their hybrid hulls gleaming in the light of the local star. Each ship represented a triumph of human ingenuity over alien arrogance. Each vessel was proof that sometimes the greatest strength was not having the best technology, but being able to make any technology work better. "You know what the best part is?" Blake said finally. "What's that, Admiral?" Amanda asked. "They gave us their garbage expecting us to fail. Instead, we used their cast-offs to build the most powerful fleet in galactic history, and now they are asking us to teach them how we did it." The aliens had given humans their cast-offs, expecting gratitude for the privilege of cleaning up their messes. Instead, they had handed humanity the keys to technological supremacy. And in the end, the greatest irony was that the Council had been right about one thing. Humans did excel at taking broken things and making them better. They had just never considered that broken things might include the balance of galactic power itself. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council took place in the Great Crystal Hall on Nexus Prime, the capital world of the galactic government. Representatives from dozens of alien species filled the floating platforms, their various forms of communication, creating a loud mix of translated voices, energy patterns, and telepathic signals. High Counselor Zenthkar of the Vorthon hegemony called the session to order with a pulse of psychic energy that demanded attention from all present. His massive crystal body towered above the other delegates as he addressed the assembly. The Vorthon leader had ruled the council for over 200 years and had never faced a crisis like this. "Honored representatives, we face a situation we have never seen before. The humans, those primitive scavengers we sent to process waste, have somehow developed military capabilities that threaten council authority." The chamber buzzed with nervous energy as species after species tried to understand how this was possible. For thousands of years, the council had maintained order through superior technology and military power. No primitive species had ever challenged them successfully. The Corvan delegate, Sub-Commander Vex Nor, still showed the physical signs of his recent encounter with the human fleet. His normally perfect bio-armor was scorched and partially healed. Deep scratches ran across his carapace where emergency medical systems had sealed hull breaches. Honored Counselor, I must report that human vessels engaged and defeated 3 of our heavy cruisers using technology that defies our understanding of their capabilities, Vex Nor said, his voice carrying shame and confusion. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the assembly. The crystalline Nexari representative pulsed with skeptical blue light. Impossible. Human technology is centuries behind our own. Their ships are crude metal constructions powered by chemical reactions. That is what we believed, Vex Nor replied, grimly. But these new human vessels displayed shield systems that exceeded our own defensive capabilities. Their weapons penetrated our defenses as if they were made of paper. And most disturbing of all, their ships appeared to use technology from multiple Council species. The revelation hit the assembly like a physical blow. Many delegates began, speaking at once, their voices creating chaos in the Great Hall. The idea that humans had somehow acquired Council technology was frightening enough. The idea that they had made it work was terrifying. The Zephyrian Trade Consortium's floating delegate drifted forward, its gas-like body shimmering with concern. Are you suggesting that humans have been stealing our technology, High Counselor? Zenthkar's response carried the weight of terrible understanding. Not stealing, Trade Leader Venthis. We gave it to them. For 3 years, we have been dumping our damaged equipment, obsolete components, and battle debris in their assigned sector. We thought we were humiliating them, making them our galactic janitors. The implications hit the assembly like a shockwave. Species after species began to understand what had happened. The proud alien civilizations had accidentally provided their most dangerous potential enemy with a complete library of advanced technology. And somehow, the humans had made it work. The Corvan military advisor, War Leader Thezkol, stepped forward. He was one of the most experienced military minds in the galaxy, having fought in dozens of interstellar conflicts. Honored Council, I have analyzed the battle recordings from our engagement. The human vessels display a design philosophy completely different from our understanding. Explain, demanded Zenthkar. Where we create specialized, irreplaceable components, they have created hybrid systems with multiple backup systems, Thezkol said, activating a holographic display that showed the battle. Their shields, for example, operate on 3 different principles at the same time. When our weapons disrupted their exotic energy barriers, electromagnetic screens activated. When those were penetrated, conventional armor plating absorbed the impact. The display showed how human weapons had penetrated Corvan defenses with ease. The hybrid projectiles combined kinetic energy with exotic matter disruption, creating a weapon system that no Council species had ever encountered. Each layer is weaker than our pure energy shields, Thezkol continued. But the combination creates a defensive system that is virtually impossible to penetrate using conventional Council weapons. The Nexari representative pulsed with angry red light. How is this possible? Their species lacks the technological sophistication to understand our energy matrices. War Leader Thezkol consulted his tactical display. They do not understand them, Counselor. They have bypassed understanding entirely. Human engineering appears to be based on the principle of, if it works, use it. They have taken our advanced components and connected them to their primitive systems using crude but effective interfaces. A new voice joined the discussion. The elderly Altarian delegate, speaking for one of the galaxy's oldest civilizations, asked the question that everyone was thinking. What are the strategic implications? Catastrophic, Thezkol replied without hesitation. Our advanced technology requires specialized manufacturing facilities, rare materials, and decades of training to maintain. Human hybrid systems can apparently be mass-produced using their conventional industrial processes. The mathematical reality began to sink in. Council technology was sophisticated but limited in production. Each ship, each weapon, each component required careful crafting by skilled specialists. Human technology, even enhanced with alien components, could be built in factories. While we can only replace our losses slowly and at great expense, the war leader continued, they can potentially build entire fleets using their industrial capacity. High Counselor Zenthkar's crystal form darkened as he processed this information. How many human worlds are there? The Terran Contact Division's report appeared as a holographic display for all to see. Initial surveys indicate approximately 12 billion humans spread across over 300 colony worlds and space habitats. Their industrial capacity is substantial. The number hit the Council like a physical blow. 12 billion humans, with the potential to mass-produce advanced hybrid warships, meant that humanity could potentially field fleets larger than the entire Council military combined. There is another factor to consider, added the Vorthon intelligence analyst. Human psychology. Our species wage war for territory, resources, or ideology. Humans appear to wage war for abstract concepts like freedom and dignity. They have proven capable of sustaining military efforts even when facing overwhelming odds. The council chamber fell silent as the full scope of their situation became clear. They had spent 3 years accidentally arming a species known for its persistence, adaptability, and refusal to surrender. Worse, they had done so while actively humiliating and antagonizing them. The silence stretched until the Nexari representative finally spoke, its crystal form pulsing with resignation. What are our options? High Counselor Zenthkar's response was heavy with the weight of necessity. We have 2 choices. We can attempt to destroy human civilization before they finish developing their hybrid technology, risking a war that could devastate the galaxy. Or, prompted the Zephyrian delegate, or we can acknowledge our error and attempt to negotiate with them before they decide our fate for us. The Altarian delegate spoke up, his ancient voice carrying the wisdom of millennia. There is a third option we must consider. What if humanity chooses to use their new power to reshape the galaxy according to their own vision? War leader Thez Cole activated another display showing human fleet movements. Our intelligence suggests they are already building additional ships. If current production rates continue, they will have the largest fleet in the galaxy within 2 years, and they will remember every slight, every insult, every moment of humiliation we inflicted upon them, the Vorthon analyst added quietly. The vote was unanimous, driven by the terrifying realization that humanity's greatest strength had never been their technology. It was their ability to take whatever they were given and make it into something better. Now they had been given the tools to remake the galaxy, and the Council could only hope that human mercy would prove as remarkable as human ingenuity. Admiral Kevin Blake stood in the command center of the newly built human fleet base, watching as 5 Phoenix-class destroyers completed their final system checks. The ships floated in formation against the background of the debris field, their hybrid hulls shining with an otherworldly beauty that spoke of human cleverness mixed with alien technology. Blake had been promoted to admiral after the success of the Phoenix project. He was a veteran space commander who had fought in the border wars before first contact with the aliens. Now he commanded the most advanced fleet humanity had ever built. Admiral, all ships report ready for combat trials, said Commander Lisa Carter from her position at the tactical station. She had been promoted after successfully managing the Phoenix construction project and now served as Blake's second in command. The testing had been extensive but secret. For months, the human fleet had conducted practice battles deep within the asteroid field, away from the watching sensors of alien patrol ships. They had discovered that their hybrid vessels had capabilities that surprised even their creators. Captain Jake Morrison, now commanding the lead destroyer New Horizon, opened a communication channel. Admiral, We have incoming traffic. Looks like a Corvin patrol squadron. 3 heavy cruisers, probably here to drop off another load of gifts. Blake smiled grimly. The timing was perfect. All ships maintain standard positions. Let them think we are just salvage vessels until they get close. On the main screen, 3 massive Corvin warships approach the human settlement. Their crystal hulls pulsed with energy, and their weapon arrays glowed with the characteristic blue light of charged plasma cannons. To most space-traveling species, the sight of Corvin heavy cruisers was enough to inspire immediate retreat. The Corvins were one of the most aggressive species in the Galactic Council. Their ships were built for war, with thick armor and powerful weapons. They had never lost a space battle against any other single species. The lead Corvin vessel, Domination's Edge, sent a message to the human settlement. The translated voice carried the typical arrogance of a council species addressing humans. Attention, human scavengers. We have additional materials for your processing. Clear a dumping zone immediately and prepare to receive our cargo. Admiral Blake activated the response channel. Corvin vessel, this is Admiral Blake of the Human Defense Fleet. You are entering sovereign human territory without permission. State your business or withdraw. There was a long pause before the Corvin commander responded, his tone shifting from dismissive to amused. Human Defense Fleet? You jest, surely? We see only salvage ships and mining equipment. Stand aside or we will remove you as an obstruction to council operations. I'm afraid I cannot do that, Blake replied calmly. As I said, you are in human space without authorization. You have 60 seconds to reverse course. The Corvin commander's laughter echoed across the channel. Primitive humans, you forget your place. Perhaps a demonstration of true power will remind you. The 3 Corvin ships began charging their main weapons, plasma energy building to devastating levels. Blake nodded to Carter, who activated the fleet-wide tactical channel. All Phoenix ships execute Revelation Protocol. Time to show them what human engineering can accomplish. The transformation was breathtaking. What had appeared to be 5 retrofitted salvage vessels suddenly blazed to life with hybrid energy systems. Shields flared into existence, not just the simple energy barriers typical of alien vessels, but complex multi-layered defensive networks that shimmered with both energy and electromagnetic components. The Phoenix-class destroyers moved with a grace that contradicted their practical appearance. Their engines produced thrust signatures that no purely human or purely alien vessel could match. They spread into a battle formation that used both human tactical doctrine and improvements, based on captured alien battle data. Captain Morrison's voice crackled over the fleet channel. New horizon ready for engagement. All hybrid systems showing optimal performance. The other captains quickly reported in. Liberty's call, standing by. Defiant Spirit, weapons hot. Iron Phoenix, ready to dance. Stellar Forge, all systems. Green! Blake opened the channel to the Corvin ships one final time. Corvin vessels, this is your final warning. Withdraw now or face the consequences. The Corvin commander's response was immediate and predictable. Fire! Destroy these insolent humans! 3 massive plasma beams lanced out from the Corvin cruisers, each carrying enough energy to vaporize a conventional human vessel. The plasma bolts were the size of small buildings and glowed with enough heat to melt steel instantly. But the Phoenix-class destroyers were far from conventional. The hybrid shields absorbed the initial impact, channeling the exotic energy through. Human-designed distribution networks that spread the load across multiple defensive layers. What would have overwhelmed alien energy shields was manageable when backed by electromagnetic barriers and conventional armor plating. Shields holding at 87%, reported the tactical officer aboard New Horizon. Minor fluctuations in the exotic matter matrix, but human backup systems are compensating perfectly. The Corvin weapons fire that should have destroyed the human ships instead dissipated harmlessly against the hybrid defenses. The alien plasma beams, designed to overwhelm single-layer energy shields, found themselves absorbed and dispersed by a defensive system that operated on three different principles simultaneously. Blake smiled as he watched the Corvin weapons. Fire prove ineffective against human hybrid defenses. All ships return fire. Let's show them what happens when you give humans your cast-off weapons and we improve them. The Phoenix-class destroyers opened fire with their hybrid weapon systems. Corvin energy-focusing arrays channeled power through human railgun assemblies, creating projectiles that carried both kinetic and exotic energy components. The result was devastating. The railgun projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds, while the alien energy components disrupted enemy defenses. It was a combination that no alien species had ever faced before, because no alien species had ever thought to combine two completely different weapon technologies. The pure alien shields of the Corvin cruisers, designed to deflect energy weapons, proved completely unable to handle the hybrid kinetic energy projectiles. The exotic energy components disrupted their shield matrices, while the kinetic elements punched through their crystal armor plating like it was paper. The first Corvin cruiser, Sword of Dominion, took 3 direct hits in rapid succession. Its crystal hull cracked along its entire length, bleeding atmosphere and coolant into space. Emergency lights flickered across its surface as critical systems failed. The second cruiser, Eternal Victory, tried to maneuver away from the human ships, but the Phoenix-class destroyers were faster and more agile than expected. A coordinated strike from 2 human ships left it crippled and drifting. The flagship Domination's Edge lasted only slightly longer. Its captain tried to use traditional Corvin battle tactics, charging directly at the human ships while firing all weapons. But the hybrid human shields absorbed the attack, and return fire from all 5 Phoenix-class destroyers left the mighty Corvin warship broken and helpless. Within 10 minutes, all 3 Corvin vessels were crippled, their proud crystal hulls cracked and bleeding atmosphere into space. Ships that had never been defeated in battle had been destroyed by vessels built from their own discarded technology. Corvin vessels, this is Admiral Blake. Prepare to be boarded for inspection. Any resistance will be met with complete destruction of your ships. The response came weakly from the damaged Corvin flagship. Impossible! How did primitive humans? What technology are you using? Blake's smile was visible in his voice as he replied. The same technology you gave us, Commander. We just made it better. As human boarding parties prepared to inspect the defeated alien ships, word of the battle began to spread through the galaxy. For the first time in galactic history, human warships had defeated Council military vessels in direct combat. The age of human submission was over. The age of human dominance was about to begin. 8 months had passed since Captain Jake Morrison decided to turn the human scrap zone into a research facility. The floating rocks that once held only garbage now buzzed with activity. Huge salvage ships moved slowly through space, carefully, collecting every piece of alien technology they could find. Dr. Amanda Wright stood in the middle of the main research building, surrounded by floating computer screens that showed the inside parts of alien devices. She was the smartest person the humans had for studying alien technology, and she had spent months trying to understand how the strange devices worked. The big discovery came when we stopped trying to copy their technology exactly, Amanda explained, to the group of ship captains and engineers who had gathered to hear her report. Instead, we focused on what each piece actually does. Captain Morrison looked at one of the screens that showed a partially rebuilt alien energy conductor. Explain it to me like I am a soldier, Doc. Keep it simple. Amanda smiled. Okay, here is the simple version. Alien technology is like a magic trick. It works perfectly when everything is exactly right, but it breaks easily if anything goes wrong. Their energy shields, for example, can stop plasma beams and energy weapons all day long, but if you hit them with a regular bullet, they collapse completely. Chief Engineer Danny Rodriguez pointed to another screen that showed what looked like a mix of alien and human parts welded together. The real breakthrough happened when we stopped trying to copy their technology and started mixing it with ours. We take their energy conductors and connect them to our electrical systems. We take their strange materials and use them to make our regular armor stronger. Lieutenant Ben Parker looked up from his analysis computer. The results are amazing, Captain. We have built shield systems that are actually stronger than the original alien versions because they have backup systems made from human technology. When the alien parts fail, the human parts keep working. Commander Lisa Carter read through the manufacturing reports on her tablet computer. We are not just fixing their broken technology anymore, Jake. We are creating completely new hybrid devices. And the best part is that everything we build can be made using human factories. We can actually mass-produce these improvements. Jake nodded as he understood what this meant. While the aliens are stuck with their specialized parts that cannot be replaced, we are building ships that can be fixed in any human repair facility. Dr. Wright brought up a new display that showed the plans for a complete spaceship. Which brings us to the big reveal. Danny, would you like to show everyone what we have built? Chief Rodriguez stepped forward, his face showing both pride and barely controlled excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Phoenix-class destroyer, built entirely from materials the aliens threw away, using mixed human and alien technology, and constructed in our supposedly primitive shipyards. The floating display showed a ship that looked clearly human in its square, practical design, but with subtle differences. The hull plating had an almost crystal-like shine where alien exotic materials had been mixed into the steel. Energy lines traced glowing paths along the outside, feeding power to both conventional and hybrid systems. The armor combines Vorthan battle plating with Earth titanium and steel, Rodriguez continued. The weapon systems use Corvin energy-focusing devices, connected to human railgun technology. The shields are a 3-layer system. Nexari energy shields backed by human electromagnetic barriers with conventional armor as the final protection. Commander Carter whistled softly. What can these ships actually do? That is the beautiful part, Amanda said with a big smile. On paper, each individual system is weaker than the pure alien versions. But in practice, the backup systems and hybrid nature makes them much more effective. Plus, if something breaks, we can fix it instead of needing to replace irreplaceable alien components. Jake stared at the ship design, his mind racing with possibilities. How long until we can build a full squadron? The first 5 ships are already being built, Rodriguez replied. We should have them ready for testing in 3 months. Dr. Wright pulled up another display showing the current state of human space. The expansion has exceeded every prediction, Captain. We now have hybrid technology production facilities on 15 different space stations, and our shipbuilding capacity is growing every day. Ben Parker looked at his tactical analysis reports. Captain, I have been studying alien fleet movements. The Council species are starting to notice increased activity in our sector. Several scout ships have tried to get close enough to see what we are doing. What did they find? Jake asked. Nothing useful, Ben replied with satisfaction. Our new sensor jamming technology uses a mix of human electronic warfare and alien energy disruption. To their scanners, we still look like simple salvage operations. Commander, Carter reviewed the latest intelligence reports. That might not last much longer, Jake. Our spy network reports that some Council species are starting to ask questions about why so much of their advanced technology is ending up in the human sector. Let them ask, Jake said firmly. By the time they figure out what we have been doing, it will be too late for them to stop us. Dr. Wright activated another display showing the technological progress they had made. We have successfully reverse-engineered and improved technology from 6 different alien species. Our hybrid systems are not just functional, they are superior to the originals in almost every measurable way. How is that possible? Asked one of the other ship captains. These aliens have been building advanced technology for thousands of years, Amanda explained patiently, because they got comfortable with perfection. Each alien species developed technology that worked flawlessly under ideal conditions. But space combat is not ideal. Things break, systems fail, equipment gets damaged. Danny Rodriguez nodded in agreement. Human engineering has always been about making things that work even when everything goes wrong. We build redundancy into everything. Multiple backup systems, repair capabilities, modular designs that can be fixed in the field. So when we combine their advanced technology with our practical engineering, Ben added, we get systems that are both sophisticated and reliable. Jake walked over to the window that looked out at the construction facilities. 5 new ships, hung in the building frames, their hulls partially complete, but already showing the distinctive hybrid design that mixed human practicality with alien advancement. How do our new ships compare to standard Council military vessels? Jake asked. Amanda consulted her computer. In direct combat, our projections show that a single Phoenix-class destroyer should be able to defeat 2 or 3 standard Council cruisers. The hybrid technology gives us advantages they simply cannot counter with their pure energy-based systems. And if they try to adapt? Lisa asked. That is the beauty of our approach, Danny said with a grin. They would have to completely redesign their entire technological base to match what we have done. That would take decades and require them to abandon thousands of years of technological development. Jake smiled as he watched human workers installing hybrid systems into the new ships. While they are trying to figure out how we did it, we will be building more ships and improving our technology even further. Dr. Wright brought up a final display showing production schedules. If our current rate of construction continues, we will have a fleet of 50 hybrid warships within 2 years. That would make us one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. Good, Jake said, his voice carrying a tone that made everyone in the room take notice. Because I think it is time we paid the aliens a visit. And I want to make sure we bring an appropriate gift to thank them for all their generous donations of scrap metal. The room fell silent as everyone understood what Jake was suggesting. For 3 years, the aliens had treated humans as inferior garbage collectors. Soon, it would be time to show them exactly what humans could accomplish when they were motivated to prove themselves.